Cam McClellan.
Lewison.
Welcome to today's Wealth WOD.
Work out of the day.
I want to talk about presentation and mass market today. What were you telling us before?
A good example. So 4 years ago, maybe 5, I've got a property, beachside property, holiday rental. We talk about not doing. I did the numbers on whether I do it as a short-term rental or long-term rental, and what it worked out to come in my pocket per year. I got an offer from someone who wanted to rent it at $750 per week, long-term, furnished, which was good. So lock it away, and they've rented there for a couple of years now. So they've now moved out, and the agents come in and said, you do realise that if you actually got rid of your furniture, we'll get you more rental on a weekly basis. Asked some questions, how's that, what's that about? When they told me, I went, of course I know this, because I do WODs, I know this. It's about mass market. So if there's one person in the market looking for a furnished place to live, there's lots and lots looking for unfurnished place to live where they can bring their own stuff and make their own place. So mass market, it just reminded me of something I've always known but probably forgotten about in that instance. So the reason, and that goes to selling your property, renting your property, the size of property, type of property. It's all about the mass market, bringing the masses into being ready to do what you need them to in your property.
So I want to talk about appealing to a mass market on two different fronts. Selling, Al mentioned that briefly, selling. So the opposite in renting, obviously getting rid of the furniture is going to open up to a mass market. Appealing to the mindset of a mass market when someone's buying a property. Our brother-in-law, sister-in-law, Claire and Aaron, had a primary place of residence out in the outer suburbs of Melbourne. 2-bedroom unit, which they were selling. And I went over there, and it was pretty rough at the time. They spent a fair bit of money getting it back up to a reasonable standard so they could sell it, because they had tenants in there for 12 months, but it was still their primary place of residence. They were getting appraisals of around the 400 mark out in the outer suburbs. They spent, I think, $2,000 or $3,000 getting some rental furniture in there, which is the perfect little deck out the lounge room, deck out the bedrooms. They actually put smaller beds in there, so it makes the bedrooms look larger.
Staging, is what it's called?
Staging, so staging your home. And they got just under, I think it was $445. So by spending $3 or $4 grand, so that they could appeal to the mindset of the mass market when they walked in there and they saw how a house could be laid out because it was staged, it got them around another $45,000 in sales value. Now that was obviously a great outcome. So while we're on mass market, I want to talk, someone said that they got asked they've asked their financial planner, not bagging financial planners whatsoever, but they asked their financial planner was trying to refer them on to defence housing sales. So defence housing is obviously subsidised housing, and you get it at a cheaper rent, similar to serviced offices. Serviced offices you can get in at, serviced apartments. You can buy at a lower amount. So people get attracted because these things have huge rent or guaranteed rent for 10 years or guaranteed X amount of rent per year at big yields.
NRAS, another one, but that was around.
NRAS was around for a while. The issue we've got with these comes back to what Alf started out talking about, is appealing to the mass market. So what makes it a good investment property? First of all, the financial planner, hopefully they're disclosing if they're getting any funds for promoting a certain investment type. But the reality is what the financial planner doesn't understand, and this is the issue, is when it comes time to get a future valuation on that property. So when it comes to get a future valuation on your property to increase the equity or the value of the property to release equity out, what happens is the valuer goes over there and they say, it's a serviced apartment or it's a defence housing home, you've got only 1% of the population is your saleable opportunity.
That's the key.
And yeah, that's the key. So they look at how saleable the end product is. Obviously, if it's got restrictions, by being a serviced apartment or defence housing, it reduces the amount of people that property is appealing to on the sales front, and therefore decreases the valuation you're going to get in the future.
Yeah, and banks assess risk, guys, we know that. So what the bank's looking at is, if I need to sell this, because I sell it when it goes bad, how deep is the market? How quick can we get the result we need to get ourselves out of this problem?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the big issue.
Yeah, you've got a contract for a defence housing house that you're saying you've bought that investment property and you're going to guarantee that it's going to be a rental to the Defence Force for the next 10 years. 5 years down the track, you want to sell it. the bank's going to look at it and say, well, you want to potentially sell it by increasing equity. The bank's going to say, if you had to sell that, we'd have to find someone else that would take over that contract so that they'd be satisfied taking on that contract to rent it out.
Who's happy with the rental, doesn't want to live in it, all those things.
So that's why we don't like those smaller markets. So
yeah. Another example, guys, just on that is if you're building investment property for yourself, let's say you're in an area where there's predominantly 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom homes and you build a 90-bedroom home, same thing, guys. It's just you're not appealing to the market. Same thing could be if you're building a house with 1 bedroom. You're not appealing to the market. There's a market for 1 bedrooms. It's an apartment market. It's not a house market. So you need to just make sure mass market.
Mass market.
Thank you.
Cheers, guys.